top 5 Adeptus Mechanicus starting units. So I've looked at different tier lists, army lists, and videos to bring you the most used Adeptus Mechanicus units. It's not meant to be an all-inclusive list, but a good way to get you started on a new AdMech army. With these videos, I'm kind of looking into each faction as if I was going to start them, and usually when I start an army, I want to pick units that I know that I will use in the long run, no matter what. Sicarian Infiltrators. So they disrupt enemy objective control. So if you're new to Warhammer, when you play, part of the game is standing on objectives to claim points. And as you see on this data sheet on the right, there's going to be a little spot that says OC up at the top with 1. That means each character in your unit counts for 1 OC. So these guys would be 5, as you can see. So it's really frustrating if they come at you on an objective, then they make their enemies OC essentially equal 0 for most units. So being able to disrupt your enemy's ability to score points is huge. They also have forward deployment. They can deploy outside of your deployment zone, giving you early control over key parts of the battlefield, screening out enemy deep strikes or threatening weak backline units. So they're pretty versatile. While not the most lethal combat unit, their volume of attacks and ability to manipulate the board control makes them a strong utility piece. Skitarii Rangers slash Vanguard. So these come out of the same box, and you kind of build them how you want, either as Rangers or Vanguard. The biggest difference I've been able to see is that the Vanguard are objective denial specialists. So just like the previous ones we talked about, they can take away objective control from enemies. The Rangers have the best way to describe it is remote scoring. They're able to score objectives while not actually standing on the circle. And then they're just like the efficient core troops. So every faction is going to have troops that are relatively low in points, but can still do a lot for their point cost. And these Rangers and Vanguard are that unit for the AdMech. So the Skitarii Marshal. So he grants the ability to units he's leading the ability to reroll hit rolls. He also has some battle shock mitigation. So he helps prevent nearby units from falling into battle shock, which is crucial for maintaining objective control and using stratagems. Ironstrider Ballistarii. This is the mobile fire support unit. The ability to advance and still shoot is a crazy ability because he can move up the board a lot quicker and still take action and take down units. He has his own command point generation. So again, if you're new to Warhammer, every round you're going to get a command point, and you can use those on one-time abilities and boosts. And you only get one per round, so they're kind of like treasure. They're important. And so this guy, if you target him with one of those stratagems, there's a chance that he can get the command point back, which is awesome. So he's pretty durable with the 7 wounds and 7 toughness. And for the points, a lot of people use 2 or 3 of them in their army. So the Kataphron Breachers. This is the dedicated anti-vehicle unit. Their weapons come with anti-vehicle 4+. So what that means, again, if you're new, is that when you attack, you roll to hit, and then you roll to wound, and then the enemy rolls for defense. What this means is that after you roll to hit, you'll roll to wound, and then every 4, 5, or 6 that you get just goes straight through. The enemy doesn't have a chance to defend it. And combined with that, they can reroll ones on the hits, and just increasing their consistency and making them true tank killers. With multiple wounds and decent saves, Breachers can hold key objectives while dishing out firepower, giving them a dual role both as an anchor and a threat. So the combat patrol. The Tech Priest, Manipulus, it gives lethal hits. I won't go too deep on him, but let's just say I've seen him in a lot of army lists and high up on tier lists. I was going to add him to the top 5, but I had to cut it down to 5, so I cut him because he is in combat patrol. And then next you have the Cerberus Sulphur Hounds. Fast cavalry for flanking and scoring. The Traxxas Sterilizers. The jetpack troops. More so used for anti-infantry. Then the Skitarii Vanguard, which we talked about earlier. And so buying these units separately would cost around $215. The box in total costs 160, which is a great deal. And then on Amazon right now, it's at $122, which is an even greater deal. If you are getting into AdMech, I'd be wary because as far as the amount of money you spend on the amount of points you get, is one of the worst ratios out of all of the 40K factions, uh, because they're one of the armies where you're going to be filling them out with a lot of smaller units. And so each of those units are going to cost you a pretty penny to get. So they are going to be one of the more expensive armies to play. But where the fun aspect comes in for them is that they aren't huge killers on the battlefield, but they can stop people from taking points. So it's a very different strategy that a lot of people find really fun. So links in the description for all of these things. And if you have any other questions on like what faction you want me to do next, again, I'm just looking as if I were going to be buying this army myself. What units are gonna that am I going to use for the longest period of time? And so again, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.